the other person could have, let's say, a red mark or a scratch. Hey everybody, good afternoon. This is David Kohlmeier, the Problem Solver. Thanks so much for joining. Whether you're listening on audio or video, thanks for joining every single week. Thursdays at 4:30 is the Problem Solver show and podcast where we're solving problems, whether a small problem or a large problem. I'm here to help out the community. Every single week I'm bringing great people on the show to talk about how they're solving problems, how they're helping me solve problems, and how they're making a difference in Clark County. Today I have an unbelievable topic that most people don't know about. We're talking about wheelchairs. And today we have Nevada Wheelchair Foundation here today to talk about their nonprofit and what they're doing. So I want to go around the room real quickly and just kind of introduce everybody so everybody can know who everybody is. So again, thanks for coming today. Today, to my left, first of all, is Leticia Lopez, who's my co-host. And she was also the Director of Client Relations for the Las Vegas Legal Network. And then we have to her left, basically, we have John Williams, who's the President of Nevada Wheelchair Foundation. Thanks, John, for joining today, especially last minute.
Yeah, thank you.
And then we also have Fraser, who's a volunteer for the Nevada Wheelchair Foundation and also a member of the Member Rotary Club of Las Vegas. So thanks so much for joining today. You know, this topic to me is a big deal because people that get disabled in general, you know, people don't know where to go, especially if they don't have any money.
Exactly.
Economic times are kind of crazy right now in general. And I know there's some law firms that you work with that are helping raise money and buying wheelchairs and really making a difference. So I wanted to bring you guys on the show to talk about all this good stuff that you guys are working on.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
So John, tell us a little bit about Nevada Wheelchair Foundation. How long has it been around? How did it get started?
We started back in 2002. My brother, he was the owner of the auto collections at the Imperial Palace.
Oh, really?
All the classic cars up there. And he came up to me one day and said, "John, I got a new job for you." And I said, "What's this?" And he goes, "You're the director of the Nevada Wheelchair Foundation." And I said, What does that mean? He said, "You're going to have 10,000 wheelchairs and you're going to give them out to people that can't afford them." I said, "How am I going to do that?" He goes, "Figure it out. You're the director." So, make a long story short, with Governor Gwyn's help, Senator Reed, John Ensign, and Mr. Gibbons, we started the Wheelchair Foundation. And 4 months later, I had about 500-600 out already. And my brother is one of the sole sponsors. We do have Rick Harris Law Firm. Rick Harris is helping us right now. And our goal is 10,000 more. So it'll be 20,000 wheelchairs.
So quick question, how many years have you been doing this?
Since 2002. We went to 2007. We took about 5 years off.
Okay.
And then we started about 2 years ago again. And we've done about 900 wheelchairs so far.
So 900 wheelchairs have been given out?
Given out.
Okay. So the goal is what, to get 20,000 wheelchairs?
10,000 more. So that would make it 20,000 in 20 years.
So we need 10,000 more wheelchairs.
Yep.
So the goal is to get 10,000 wheelchairs to basically disperse. And is it just locally here in Clark County?
No, state of Nevada.
The whole state. Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay. Brock, you are a member of the Rotary Club of Las Vegas, which I think I went many years ago. There was one in Henderson. Where is your location? Is there, for the Rotary Club, just recap about the Rotary Club a little bit.
We're the oldest Rotary Club in Las Vegas, founded in 1923, so we're coming up on our 100th anniversary. We meet every Thursday at noon at Lowry's The Prime Rib. And our relationship with the Wheelchair Foundation goes back to the original days, back to 2002, when we financed about
$22,000 worth, about 140 wheelchairs.
About 140 wheelchairs. And we helped disperse them at that time. And then now we've partnered up again, and there's, as John calls us, the A-Team. And we deliver them all over Clark County, well, actually outside of Clark County as well.
So in regards to the Rotary Club, are there different parts, like the one in Henderson? I think a long time ago was the Fiesta.
Right. There are.
How many groups are there?
What are there? About 15 clubs in town.
Okay.
As I said, we are the oldest and by far the largest of the clubs with around 150 members. But there are multiple clubs, smaller clubs, Usually 25 to 40 or 45.
So you have the largest club in Vegas?
Yeah.
And the oldest, correct.
And you guys are always meeting around steak at Lowry's. You always guys having steak, right?
Prime rib.
I wish.
That's the way to get people there. That's why you have so many large people, is that you have given out steak every day. At the Fiesta, I don't know if there was like the whole steak thing was going on over there.
No,
I think it was at the buffet.
we're into prime rib.
Prime rib.
Yeah.
Is it a luncheon every time you do it?
Every Thursday at noon.
Thursdays at noon. I like that.
Yep.
I need something Thursdays at noon, so there we go. Probably a nice group of people working together. The real quick of the mission of the member of the Rotary Club, because I know it's all over the place. What I love about the Rotary Club, even back in my hometown, New York City, when you drive into every community, there's always the Rotary Club logo, like right before you drive into the community, showcasing that chapter, right?
Exactly.
And there's also, it's all over. It's international, right? Like you go to China, there's a Rotary Club, right?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
There are 1,300,000 members worldwide. And I forget how many actual clubs, but worldwide doing good charitable work.
Yeah. Wheelchairs too.
So,
And wheelchairs.
so do you, I mean, I know it's a long time ago. Did you know how you got started with the Nevada Wheelchair Foundation? It was just a nonprofit you were supporting. Do you remember that? Or not really?
Yeah,
Jim
it
Hunt.
it started off because the Rotary is a big supporter of the Wheelchair Foundation worldwide.
Okay.
We gave out 1.4 million wheelchairs worldwide.
Wow.
And my brother wanted to do Nevada only, where we work and live. So we concentrate in Nevada. But that's how the Rotary found out. They already had a connection with the Wheelchair Foundation.
Okay.
And then when they heard that we had the Nevada Wheelchair Foundation, Jim Hunt, Brock, they all got together, and that was it.
Okay, great. What so tell me, okay, so first thing. So I know that you mentioned Richard Harris Law Firm.
Sure.
So I noticed, I was over at Richard Harris Law Firm the other day when I was passing through, and I noticed here one of the magazines that are going out, I think, with to all of his clients. I know Richard Harris has been around for 40 years. Lending a Hand, Nevada Wheelchair Foundation. There's an article showing some. Tell us a little bit about this situation in regards to, what were there, 300 wheelchairs?
Yes, we had Rick Harris bought 300 wheelchairs, and he wanted a distribution day. So October 1st, we gathered, I think there was about 80 to 90 right there.
Okay.
And we gave out about 80 or 90, actually. We almost
So that day at Richard Harris Law Firm, they gave out about 80 or 90.
80 wheelchairs. And Richard, we're going to have another one probably in about 2 months.
Okay.
At the same location. I think, what is it, 830 4th Street.
South 4th Street.
South 4th.
Is there another event already set up?
We're working on it right
Okay.
now.
When there's a future date, let me know so we could basically help out and try to promote it as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
What so how did this come about in regards to, how did he come up with 300? Did he just pick a number, Richard Harris?
One container holds 280 wheelchairs.
Okay, one container.
Yep, and they come in different sizes. So if we get the 20-inch wheelchairs or whatever, sometimes we can only get 250 or 260.
Okay.
We mix them up with different sizes, and it comes out about 280. And we say 300 just to round it off.
So the 280 that comes in the container, where's it coming from? Is it
China.
China?
And and we actually have about 700 floating out in Long Beach right now. They've been sitting out there for about a month. So we're waiting for them to come in too.
It's crazy times. I mean,
Oh my God.
And Richard Harris basically financed one container.
Container wheelchairs, yes. And he did promise us if we get low, he's going to buy some more. He's in for the long haul.
I like that.
And he's doing it from his heart, not for anything else.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's been around for 40 years, definitely in the community, always wants to help out doing these nonprofit events and community outreach programs. I'm just curious. I was just thinking of some challenge, there's like lawyer challenge. I'm sure Rick will probably, follow the challenge. What does it cost approximately to do about, the 280 wheelchairs? I mean, what's the price tag on that? Like if I said, hey, you know what, I want to donate 280 wheelchairs.
Okay, that's that question. If you would ask that question 5 months ago, 42,000.
42,000.
Right now, shipping went up from 3,000 to 20,000.
Wow.
Wheelchairs went up 30%. So now it's probably up to 65,000 for,
Isn't that crazy?
yes.
Just because of everything going on in the
Everything
economy and
that's
stuff.
going on, so it's going to hurt us.
It pays for you to send me to China to go pick up the wheelchairs.
Yeah, but you can't unload them.
And that's the problem. I never even thought about it, not that I know anything about that stuff, but regards to the ports, I mean, if it's sitting on the water, does it cost extra money Are they charging surcharges because they're sitting in the water waiting?
They can charge $100 per day. So
Extra?
far, yes, they haven't yet. But
So right now, how many wheelchairs are sitting in Long Beach on the water?
2 full containers, 600,
600. And how long have they been out there?
about 10 days.
Interesting.
And they're going to call any minute. I told the A team, I said, get ready, because once they call me, and now I have a 5 days, and then it's $100 a day after that at the port. Even if they unload them, I got 5 days free.
Got it.
And then I got
Well,
1
5
hour.
days free just to go pick it up.
Yep. And then I got 1 hour to unload all the wheelchairs,
1 hour.
and then
It's like a stop clock.
almost.
Yeah.
And then it's $100 every hour after that.
How many people does it take to unload it?
We have the A team. We have about 10, 8, 8 to 10.
8 to 10.
Do you drive down from Vegas like in a little bus?
No, they come up and deliver in the container. Then we took them to Rick Harris warehouse.
No, I'm saying in order to get them off, the 8 or 10 people that you need to take them off, who are those people?
A team.
From the Rotary Club.
From the road.
So the Rotary Club goes down to Long Beach?
No. To the warehouse.
They bring them up
Oh, they
in
bring
a
it all the way up here.
container,
Okay.
drop them off at our location.
Okay.
And then the A team's waiting for them.
Okay. I like
And
it.
we have an hour when that
1
truck
hour.
backs up into the warehouse. We have an hour to unload.
It takes every minute.
Got it. And you have a warehouse.
We have them scattered around. Rick's helping us in his warehouse.
Okay.
The Lions Club, I got to say something with the Lions Club, too. I'm a member of the Lions and the Rotary.
Mm-hmm.
The Lions store my wheelchairs for me statewide. I have 200 sitting in Reno. Well, 100 now.
Okay.
Brock and I went up there. And so the Lions, the Service Club, is helping us by warehousing. The Rotary is more hands-on, muscles, and getting them out. So I use all the, even Kiwanis, I've used them before.
Kiwanis too, yeah. So just to recap, John and Brock. So I just want to recap in general because we have a
Sure.
new working relationship.
Yeah.
You know, I was actually a police officer in Henderson for 13 years. I was NYPD officer in New York City for about 4 years. Came out here, actually, believe it or not, February. I came out in 2002, so I'm here 20 years come February,
Okay.
February 19th. So I've always done community policing. I've always tried to help people. And as a retired police officer, I always want to come, you know, basically give back and help out. And that's why I kind of started this podcast last February actually. So it's been about a year now. We've done a weekly show, and I always bring different, nonprofits like American Cancer Society, different people. And it's growing in general. You know, we've got up to about 12,000 views, and we share it, and we can use this as a tool to get people more involved. And you can share this particular podcast to different people if they want to donate. I was thinking I would want to ask Leticia as well, because she's very creative, that we need to think by the end of the podcast of some creative concept. Now, it is expensive. I mean, $42,000 to $65,000. You need 10,000 more. I know that the legal community, especially people that do personal injury and accidents, they always want to give back something related, in general, so people get injured. But I like to come up with some type of challenge, kind of a wheelchair challenge to the legal community or even the medical community, the doctors. There's a big network in town, to see that if we can get those 10,000 wheelchairs to get something going on. So maybe we can think of something that's creative as a challenge, and we can use this podcast, and then we can bring them back on.
Oh, that would be awesome.
But you accept regular donations, right?
Yes.
So there's not would you say one wheelchair is?
About $150.
Okay. So if someone wanted to, so $150 is like the value of a wheelchair.
Well, let me correct that. That's our local Nevada cost, because the American Wheelchair Foundation finances the other half. Is that correct?
No, $150 buys a wheelchair, and the Wheelchair Foundation matches that. So you buy 2 wheelchairs, actually.
This is the American National Wheelchair Foundation.
Yeah, the Wheelchair Foundation.
So if I pay $150, I'll get 2.
Get 2 wheelchairs.
Got it. Okay, so it's like a deal.
Yep.
To help you guys. So you mentioned there was another lawyer in town that basically tried to do some type of challenge. What attorney was that? What did he do?
Dallas Horton.
Okay, what did he do?
Dallas he's unbelievable. He saw me at a mixer, and he comes up. I think I was wearing this shirt, and he goes, "What do you guys do?" I said, "We give out free wheelchairs." He goes, "Tell me about it." Okay, he told me about it. I told him about it, and he says, "Come to my office on Monday. I'm going to give you a check of $1,000 just for the heck of it." I said, "Okay." So we went there, and then Dallas called me about 3 weeks ago and says, "Let's do a fundraiser." And I said, "Okay, let's do it." And I said, "What I got to do?" He goes, "Nothing, John, nothing. I'm just going to call 25 of my good friends. They're going to come over and have some cheap pizza, Diet Coke, and they're going to write checks for you, $9,300.
Boom.
Yep, boom. And Dallas does it from his heart too. He worked hard. I mean, he called all his friends. Lawyers charge a lot per minute, right? He must have been on that phone a long time. So, my hat's off to Dallas.
Cool. That's good. That's nice to hear. He's a good guy, too.
Come join us and bring your checkbooks, right?
That's what he says.
If you want to do a fundraiser here, this is Sticky Paws Studio. John Orlando and the team here at Sticky Paws, basically, they always want to give back and do community outreach. And we normally have some events, what they call Studio C over here. So if you want to do something, there wouldn't be a cost. We could provide, drinks, and I have no problem, donating, sponsoring food. And if you want to do a little bit of a mixer, or we could set something up in general. The back room that's being used right now, but we could set that up. And we actually just had like a holiday, like an ugly sweater holiday party.
Well, that's
About 75 people. We also work with Social Register Network. I'm not sure if you know them, Dan Merrill and Mary Grace. They run a network of like business people in general, and they normally like to help out and get involved in community stuff. So we can work together on making something happen,
Wow.
What we could do too is I could bring 100 wheelchairs. It's not going to cost anybody anything. We'll put them back there. We'll advertise if you need a wheelchair, can't afford one, they can qualify by just calling us. I mean, to qualify for a wheelchair is very simple.
Okay.
You've got to live in Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
It's got not for temporary use. I mean, you have to use it almost
Permanent.
80% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you just can't afford one. That's it. Yeah, we'll get burned. People lie, of course. That's going to happen. That's part of the game. That's okay. We don't ask them how much they make or anything. I can bring them back, and we can promote it for a month or 2 months, and then they can come right to the studio in back.
Okay.
And then when you see the tears, and this gentleman delivers so many wheelchairs, he can tell you right now, his stories will make you tear up right now. You'll see that. I can do that. I can donate.
I like that. So quick question for you. What is what's the qualification? Basically that they can't afford a wheelchair.
They can't afford one, live in the state of Nevada, and for not temporary use. I used to say permanent use.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of strong, so I say 80%. If you need it 80% of the time, that's permanent.
In other words, you can't have a broken leg and need it for 6 weeks.
Yeah, because I can't take them back. Once I give it to you, I can't take it back.
It's interesting. I was over at Walmart at Charleston in Decatur, and I think I was going to the bathroom with the kids, and I saw someone with a wheelchair, and I looked, and it actually said, I think it was Richard Harris, right? It said Richard Harris Law Firm on the back, like as a sponsor. But it was funny that I just happened to see it. I think the event was taking place, but something was different with the chair. Maybe because it looked a little bit, because these have red, right?
They're all red.
Ferrari red. There's a story for that too.
So I think that's why I saw it, because it was red, and I think I did see the logo of Richard Harris and then the logo of you guys of Nevada Wheelchair Foundation. All right, so quick question. I want to hear some stories, but tell us why it's red. Why is the Ferrari red? Is Ferrari making this or what?
Well, Ken Barron, that started the Wheelchair Foundation back in 2000. He's a active car enthusiast, collector, Ferraris, and Ferraris are red, and his favorite color is red, and most wheelchairs are black if you see them, maybe some blue. So we wanted something that stands out, that you can see it going down the road, and so we took the red, and we had 1.3 million red wheelchairs now.
What I like about the red is that I think that if you're using it, I think people see it more than just black.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether people like the red or not, I mean, I think it's...
Well, some don't. Some said, "You expect me to be in this red wheelchair?"
What do you say to that? You could paint the black.
No, here's what I say. I'll say, "I'll go get a black one for you." I take it and go, and they never hear from me again.
I think it's good for safety-wise, especially if you're in the street or something. I mean, not that I want people in the street, but I think it's good because it kind of, you see it, it's visible, It is. I think sometimes the black...
the handles come off, the leg rests come off, it folds up really easy. It's really a nice, durable...
It's a beautiful chair.
Yes.
So tell us some stories of... tell us some success stories of that, at least that some of the listeners and viewers can get like emotional, like, I really want to donate money to them. This is an amazing story.
I'd love to. One, and I was thinking about this on the way over here today. A year ago tomorrow afternoon, it was Christmas Eve afternoon. It was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I delivered a chair up North Las Vegas, up on Las Vegas Boulevard North, to one of those mobile home parks. And I think you know the kind of mobile home park I'm talking about. And I pulled into that mobile home park, and there, at one time, years ago, had been some pavement in between the mobile homes. Well, that had totally deteriorated. Every mobile home in there was in desperate need of repair. They were in shambles. And I pulled up to the one that I had been given the address to, and the son of the lady who needed the wheelchair met me at the door, and he had helped his mother get, because she lived basically in her bed or on the sofa. That was her total mobility. And I rolled this wheelchair. I usually assemble the wheelchairs, outside the home, and then bring it in. And she lit up, and the tears were they just brought you so much happiness to see. And I said, this was Christmas Eve, and there was not one colored light, not one wreath. I mean, the desolation in that sad home, but that brought her, and she said, I love red. And she just was so excited about this red wheelchair that she got, that was and it was brand new. And she says, you're like Santa Claus. Mm-hmm. And,
how old was the person?
She had to have been in, it's sad, the number of them that I see in their mid-60s.
Okay.
And we're delivering chairs to people who cannot get around.
I mean, even in a manufactured home, it's going to be very difficult depending upon the size, right?
But
did you go inside? Did you see?
And she had, I was inside. And like I say, there was not even one little Christmas tree or a wreath or anything of any, symbolism for the joy of the season. Mm-hmm. And this just brought her more happiness. Speaking of the mobility, I remember another one that we did when we had the distribution event over on Owens, where the medical office
Owens
was.
Street, yes. Mm-hmm.
One Saturday we had people scheduled 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9, 9:30. And I remember a family walking in from the parking lot, and it was 3 generations. Leading the group was Mom, and she was the middle generation. And following her was her son, who was in his early 20s, strapping, nice young man. And right behind him was Grandma with her hand on his shoulder. She was blind and barely shuffling along. And we got them inside, and we got her a small wheelchair. She was a small little old lady. We got her a wheelchair, and she just lit up. And I never forget Mom saying to us, she can now go places. We don't have to leave her alone at home. She can go places with us like a family. And we just changed that family's life dramatically.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. I feel like a lot of people just don't know. This is the reason why I kind of want to do the Problem Solver podcast, is a lot of people don't know who to call. So I'm not sure, do you even know? Are you familiar with 211 United Way?
Yes.
Are you part of that? Like if I call right now and say I need a wheelchair.
Yes, we're part of that.
Okay, good. Most people are not. Like even if I'm not sure, the Rotary Club, like anyone that's doing anything with nonprofit, they should be part of 211. Most people don't even know what that is. And basically it's just social services, referrals, services they refer you to, whether you need a place to stay, a wheelchair. Just people don't even know about it. I mean, it's a big deal because people just don't know where to go to, when they need resources.
Paul's an excellent man. He runs it down here. And we probably get 1 or 2 wheelchairs a month from 211.
Kind of a one-stop shop for
anything,
those kinds of needs.
Any need.
Back in the day, as a community policing officer in Henderson, or most police officers would have like a little bit of a card, like a neighborhood card, and they would give it out to people. But it was always changing, whether it was like Hope Link, it was in Henderson, or different programs. So what happens is, eventually when 211 came out, originally, you couldn't call it from a cell phone. You could only call from a landline. I remember giving it to an officer once. He's like, what are you, Kohlmeier? What are you giving me? What number doesn't even work? What are you referring me to? Yeah. And then I called the number and said, it works. And I found out later you couldn't call on a cell phone. Cop thought I was crazy, didn't know what I was talking about, So I said, no, it works. I just called. But then later on, you were allowed to call from a cell phone. But now I just think that people just still don't know about it. It's been around. It's got to be at least 15 years. But like even that person, right? If they would have known about 211, said, look, I need a wheelchair, I have no money, they would have referred. How'd they find out about you? Do you remember that person?
That was
Well,
when
we went on the 80%, I would say, 75 to 80% are Hispanic. So we go on Telemundo a lot,
Okay.
Univision,
I like that.
the newspapers. And so I would say most, and that's why we have Rock. He's fluent in Spanish,
That's awesome.
and he represents.
¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, gracias.
Leticia is my Spanish voice.
Leticia.
Yeah, actually, he speaks fluently Spanish. I think he speaks Spanish better than I do. And I was listening to his stories earlier about what he has done for the community and whatnot. So it's a good thing that you told me that you did some stuff on the radio with Univision and also with the newspapers. So like for those, is there other links or networks that you guys utilize that could help also the people?
You know,
in
it's
the
tough.
community?
It's when we first started that on Channel 13 with Trisha King, Channel 3, Marie Montera. Channel 8, I had, she's retired now. Anyway, they would almost call me and follow me for a year. And now I call Trisha and I call Maria. There's so much going on in the world that they don't have time to do what they used to do. That's what she just tells me that. And so awareness is about half what it used to be. Being on this show is a privilege. It's going to get the word out. You know, when we do get on Channel 8 or 5, like we were last week, you know, we got 35 seconds, 40 seconds. We hope they see it. Don't blink. You know, awareness is our biggest thing. We can have 1 million wheelchairs. What good is it if nobody knows them? You know,
Well, Dave and I will definitely make sure that the word will get out in all our social media and also through our friends and whatnot. And what Dave actually stated earlier about the whole maybe doing a challenge with our community, I think it's a good start.
That
you
would
know?
be fun too. And you know, Henderson Police, I think it was 2004. When was you an officer?
I started 2002.
Okay, I went to the police chief in about 2004, and I said, "Can you guys help me?" I can't even remember his name.
Was it Chief Mayberry?
No, I don't
Or
name it.
was it female? Judah Chambers?
No, it was a male film. God, I can't remember. Anyway, I said, "I want you guys to help me." And he goes, "How can I help you?" And I says, "Just get the word out that I had the wheelchairs." And he goes, "You know, and distribute them." He goes, "Our budget, our officers don't have time to go deliver wheelchairs and stuff." And he goes, "Why would you think that would be possible, John?" And I said, "Well, most of the time, if officer pulls up in front of a house, it's not good. I mean, it's not good." And I said, now they can pull up in front of the house, open the trunk, and pull out a brand new wheelchair. That's really community. And then 2 days later, when the community officers called me, for a while they distributed my wheelchairs. They didn't do a lot, but they warehoused a lot of my wheelchairs for Henderson. So that's my goal, is to have the police officers. I think it would be awesome to have them deliver. But they're they're tight. Their budgets are tight.
I mean, when you say budgets in regards, I mean the community policing officers, which they have these community policing in Vegas and different places. They're called different things.
Yeah.
In Henderson's community relations officer in general, but they have some time to do. But the biggest thing is really getting the word out, right? They may just say call 211, right? Or having officers being aware that there is a service. So if they're in someone's home,
That would
which
be
you think about who's in more homes than anybody else as a police officer.
Exactly.
They see somebody that's not mobile, that needs a wheelchair, like they're always talking and communicating with people. Say, hey, call 211, right? And then they would get to you, because most officers are not going to remember your specific number or the name. Yeah. So all they have to know is like, hey, if someone needs a wheelchair, then it's 211.
Yep.
So I think that's really, really important. And I think that it's just like maybe an email to, and I can set you up with that email to the different like police, community policing, and then
awesome.
you say, please let all the officers know. Tell them to call 211 if they need a chair. We'll bring them. We will distribute the wheelchair to help people. And then I think HopeLink is really big in Henderson specifically, and I think Catholic Charities you deal with probably, or some other places. I mean, I think that any nonprofit like you deal with all these places, just getting the word out. When's the last time you did like a news release? A long time ago.
Well, for Rick Harris for October 1st.
Okay.
And I have, I send them in, and we don't get much response.
So I work with some public relations people, so we could work on that stuff. Leticia's great in the Spanish community. Maybe she could help.
That's the big.
Yeah. Another outlet too, within the hospitality industry. When I used to work in the hospitality industry, we did a lot of nonprofit And they're like MGM Resorts is like one of the best
do
places
good,
that does a lot of nonprofit. We did the Boys Foundation, and we worked with tons of different organizations. Also, like with Caesars, I believe they also do stuff. So I think that
They
would
do
be an
small
outlet
grants.
too. Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They get.
They do a lot of volunteerism too. So like if you
Yes.
need people that that want to do volunteerism, like we just have to get in contact with the people there.
Yes. I want to do a golf tournament. I know there's a lot out there, but I do have a couple of people that they said they might want to sponsor. That's when you can make your money, because the golf course got to make their $80, and then you charge $150, and then you got next thing you know you're only making $25 per player. If we can find some sponsors, maybe Mr. Harris, maybe Dallas Horton, maybe anybody out there, a bank, if they can sponsor it, now we get 80% of the money. We'll make $20,000, and we're using some of the money for awareness. The money that we got from Dallas, it's mainly going to go for awareness. We don't know how to use it yet, but we want to make sure it's earmarked for something, maybe in the Hispanic community. If I can get on the TV up there, I guarantee you we'll probably do 50 to 80 wheelchairs. If we get on Univision or Telemundo live, if we get on live, and it'll work.
Yes, I agree with that. And I also think that we should also get in contact with some of our politicians as well that could help with this. This is a very good cause.
Good luck. I mean,
Well, we're gonna.
let me reach out to some people. Like,
We're going to
let's
work
talk
on
to
it
some people.
together in regards to that.
Yes.
So, look, I work with several different public relations people and some firms, so we can make something happen. I think the key is with this video first of all, with this video, and we're going to talk about where to call to donate and so on.
Yeah.
What we can do with this, basically, we're going to share it with the different groups, right? And then maybe what we'll do is before the end, I'll have you, whether you want to speak in Spanish to one of the cameras
Yeah, that'd be good.
about people that want to donate or what the services are. We'll have you look at one of the cameras. We can clip that and we can put that out into the Spanish community. Awesome. And then the second thing what we'll do is, like I said, I'll work with the public relations people. To me personally, the best thing is, at least for Sticky Paws, because they're very big into community outreach, we can definitely do an event here. It's not going to cost you any money. So I can do drinks and food, not a problem. So you just set up a date that you think is going to be good, maybe for 2 hours, 3 hours, and you say drinks and food, mix and mingle, fundraiser event. You could have a box and people could bring in checks. You can talk a little bit.
Awesome.
So I want to offer this place, to you guys. Let's figure out a date to make it happen.
Thank you.
And then we can market it in different ways, and I definitely think we can get you some more support. Did you go on TV when you did this event with Richard Harris? Did you get on any TV prior or no? Because I could probably make that happen for the next event.
I don't think I had TV at that event.
So let's do that for the next event in general, and then we can have some Spanish reporters. I'm not sure if you know Carlos Mendoza, who with Living Local. He's a good supporter, who's on Living Local on Channel 3 and stuff like that. So I'm sure we can get it out. I mean, sometimes it's who you know, right? So we're going to make things
That's
happen.
all it is, yeah.
That's the bottom line. And then Leticia's great in the Spanish community, so she can help out as well with that specifically. What was my question for you? So we talked about some good stories in general, how you're helping people. So here's a good question for you. So have you go into the Spanish communities? People probably shocked that you speak Spanish. I mean, everyone speaks Spanish. Are they surprised when you go there speaking fluent Spanish? And where did you learn Spanish? Were you on a mission or something? Or
Thanks. No, thanks for asking. My dad was a sugarcane farmer, and so I grew up in Puerto Rico. So I was talking Spanish right along at the same time I was talking English.
Awesome.
And then we moved from there to, my dad took over a larger plantation in Mexico, in Sinaloa. And so I was there until after I graduated from college. My parents were still there. And so that's my Spanish background. Yeah, and I walk in and I open my mouth and people look at me like, where'd that come from?
And his dialect is so fast, too. I mean, you're faster than most of them.
But
did you
and
notice
so
that?
fluently. I was like, maybe he's from Argentina. I don't know. It's like,
I always think it's great when you don't look that you speak Spanish and you're like in the Spanish community and they're talking about you and you like make believe you're a real gringo. You're like, what?
Yeah.
What? And they're like, this guy's crazy in Spanish.
We can talk about him and you won't know. And
Yeah, thanks.
No, I think it's amazing, especially how many volunteers are there that go out? Is it normally you guys specifically?
We have the Rotary.
So the Rotary Club will help out with distribute with the
Almost every Rotary does distribution and help unloading trucks and stuff. The Lions Club does the warehousing for us, and that's big.
Okay.
That's $1,000 a month they give us. If I put all their money together, they probably do $3,000 a month. They saved me. And And I also have volunteers out there. We have a couple Hispanic volunteers that
Okay.
we can't get a hold of Brock. We call them. We might have statewide 30 volunteers. And we have 2 employees. That's it. We're looking for an office. We don't have no overhead, so money goes directly into the Wheelchair Foundation.
What would you do with the office if you had an office?
We have an office. It's so hard to work out of home when you got a little puppy, a nice pool,
Okay.
hot coffee. You know how that is? No discipline. And so, I just put out the word 2 weeks ago. We're looking for an office. We live off of Tropicana and 215 Flamingo. And
Would you, if you had an office space for you, would you go downtown though, or is that really like another world to go downtown Vegas?
No, we can go down.
How many hours would you use the office for?
Probably 4 hours a day.
And who would go in every day?
Me or Ivy Uniski, my girlfriend and manager.
And what would be the normal task? How do you?
They're phone calls, just phone calls, paperwork, something
Okay.
that we can concentrate. At home, it's hard to concentrate.
Okay.
So we can zero in and we can plan fundraisers and actually have people. Right now, we have recipients coming to my house, and we probably have 10 to 15 a week coming to the house. They don't go inside, but they go to the garage. Sometimes it's not good. If I have a location, let's just say you guys, I can put 10 wheelchairs here. I can use you as a distributing
So you also
point.
need it for meeting space as well.
I'm meeting space.
So one thing that I may wind up doing, because I do have space on 4th Street, as for the Problem Solver, we do have some space downtown. I don't know about the whole wheelchair space. I mean, how many you would have
that's
there?
not important. The
Doesn't matter.
main one is the office space.
Got it.
Herb.
The only problem I find with downtown is the parking is a little bit of a concern.
Yes.
But I do have some space downtown that I was thinking of working with some nonprofits to basically use. It's not a huge office in general, but maybe I could show it to you, and it wouldn't cost you any money to use. So I think that would be good.
Thank you.
So we'll meet up real quickly. I just wanted to read. So I got your brochure here, Nevada Chapter Wheelchair, circling the state with friendship, hope, and mobility. Giving a gift of mobility. I'm just going to read real quickly just a mission statement. The Nevada Wheelchair Foundation is leading an effort to deliver a wheelchair to every man, woman, and child that need a manual wheelchair for permanent use, but may not have the resources to acquire one. We offer help for those individuals. A wheelchair offers freedom, self-reliance, mobility, and hope, which is amazing. And then here it talks about the foundation. A little bit more information here. For only $150, a new wheelchair will be purchased, delivered to someone in need. The Nevada Wheelchair Foundation will match a donation of $150. So we'll be really sponsoring 2 wheelchairs. Tax-deductible contribution can change a life by delivering hope. For details. So the main number to call you, which we're going to put up on the screen, what's the best number? Do we have
That's 702-900-3362 is probably the best one. And we also have a second phone number is 702-832-6519. We might be going to that number more permanent because the other number is a Google number. So if something ever happened, I'm out of luck. So we're gradually going to change it.
Okay. And then chairs are distributed by a local service club, senior centers, and volunteers by appointment only. All manual wheelchairs are brand new in a box, Ferrari Red, and come in 3 sizes. Nevada resident need a manual wheelchair for permanent use but cannot afford one. Please call that number. Again, 900-3362. Okay.
Yeah.
So I did see the truck as well, and I saw you got some pictures of some people that are using the truck in general, so that's amazing. Okay, great. So the bottom line is, is anything else that you want to share, or Leticia, if you have any questions, anything else? We got the story in regards to what your nonprofit is doing. We're going to work at some fundraisers. I think for us, at this point in time, I just think that the challenge really is for any attorney or doctor that's in the community, if they want to donate, a little bit of challenge of who can donate the most.
Yes.
In general.
That'd be awesome.
And the goal is to get to another 10,000. And let's see whether a doctor, a lawyer, a chiropractor, to see how many. And then maybe we will, when we do the event, we can acknowledge them here with a certificate and a little bit of a trophy or something like that for helping out in the community. Again, it's a tax write-off, so there's no reason if you want to be involved in anything for community outreach and helping people, especially people in the legal community and medical that are involved in helping people that are injured or accidents.
Exactly.
So let's do that for anyone legal and medical. The challenge basically is to see how many you could donate, and we will come up with some recognition for those people in general. So we'll get that out there. Maybe we can come up with something different as well. For the next event over at the Richard Harris Law Firm, let us know so we can help promote it to get people there. I know that we can get Leticia on the news as well. Carlos Mendoza, who's channel 3 with living local. I'm sure he would basically do something. Maybe he would interview Leticia and yourself. Actually, you'd be great, Brock, because in Spanish, having the Spanish version.
Love to do it. Another area is I have a couple of friends who are physical therapists, and you'd be surprised how often they come across an individual. I had one, it's been about a year ago, a young man got shot by an intruder, and he had no insurance. He was from out of state, had nowhere. He was early 20s, had no wherewithal, and he was able to, and he was permanently disabled. And so physical therapist. And I also have it published in my church bulletin. And not necessarily it's someone from my church, but they may know someone who could use a wheelchair. So there's a number of different places.
So that's good that you said it was a 20-year-old. So definitely it's not just for senior citizens, but it's also for anybody that needs it.
Yeah, we
correct?
don't have many kid wheelchair sizes because there's so many great foundations out there that help kids. And when we ended the wheelchair foundation in 2006, I had maybe 800 to 1,000 small wheelchairs. I couldn't give them away. So now we have 16-inch that fits people about 100 pounds, 140 pounds. And so we don't concentrate on the kids right now because this shipment coming in that's floating out in Long Beach right now, I don't know if Brock knows this. I got 2 more big sizes coming in now, 22 and 24 inch. We never had them before. So we're going to help people a little bit heavier.
That's fantastic.
So long story short, we got everything covered in regards to that. I'm thinking that if there's anything else that you want to share, if not, I was thinking about maybe, I think camera 5, Chase, if he wanted to do speak Spanish a little bit to the Spanish public, that we can get this out there, maybe clip it in the future. Is camera 5 okay? That's good, okay. So here's a question for you. If you want to say something in Spanish, if you want to just say Nevada chapter wheelchair, what you guys do, number, a little bit of a commercial.
Okay.
And then whenever you want to stop, we'll clip it later. It's okay that anyone that's listening in English, it's fine. And we're going to clip it later, and then we could put it out. Leticia could put it out. And then what we could do is maybe after Chase, if you don't mind, Leticia could speak in Spanish, saying, by the way, if she could put out her phone number, or if you want to use whatever number that you want to use, how that we're working together, the Problem Solver, Las Vegas Legal Network, and the Nevada Wheelchair Foundation. And if they have any questions, they can call. So maybe we'll clip you, and then Leticia's camera could be, what is it, number 2, I guess? And then we can clip her in Spanish in number 2, and we can put it together. So it's going to just be improv. We're going to make something happen.
Fantastic.
Chase, you don't speak any Spanish, right? Un poquito? Un poquito palabras?
More time.
Okay, so we'll have no clue if you're saying something right or wrong. It doesn't make a difference. We're all human beings anyway. We all mess up.
Leticia will know.
Leticia will know. So anyway, so look at camera number 5.
Okay, gotcha. And nosotros somos el Nevada Wheelchair Foundation. Tenemos sillas con ruedas para personas que necesitan una silla y no pueden pagar. Seguro no paga, ellos no tienen la feria el dinero para pagar para una silla, y nosotros los tenemos gratis, no te cuesta nada, solamente tenés que hablar con nosotros y te lo llevamos a tu casa, te lo regalamos con gusto. Leticia.
Perfecto.
Leticia, número 2.
Aquí estoy con Nevada Wheelchair Foundation y aquí están regalando wheelchairs para la comunidad que no tienen del dinero o la aseguranza para estos wheelchairs, y básicamente es algo muy grande aquí para la comunidad, que mucha gente que necesita un wheelchair y no tiene la conveniencia para eso. Y si necesita algo como en ese estilo, nomás háblalos aquí en el número que va a estar en la pantalla más a rato, o al número 702-900-3362. Aquí estamos colaborando con el Wheelchair Foundation, con Las Vegas Legal Network.
Muy bonito.
Perfecto, mucho perfecto aquí. That's awesome, great. So we'll clip that together, and then we'll make something happen, then maybe make the phone ring in general.
Do we have time for another quick story?
Yeah, please.
Sure.
Leticia talked about it's not just for older people. I delivered a wheelchair up in North Las Vegas, got there, and the head of the household was a young lady about 38. And this wheelchair was for her brother, who was a couple of years younger. Her brother had, and I didn't question how this happened, had been shot in the abdominal area several times and was paralyzed from the waist down. And had no other family but his sister. So he was living with his sister. He had no use of the lower part of his body, and at the same time had no control of any of his bodily functions. And not only did she take care of her brother, who now obviously cannot work, but she had her own son. I met the son, who was probably 13 or 14 years old. And she was taking care of 4 nieces and nephews, all living under her roof. And she's taking care of this brother who was totally immobile.
Yep.
And talk about heartbreaking. And she obviously she was stretched tight.
Yeah.
Another young man that I delivered one to, mom met me at the door. And her son, who was in his early 40s, had 7 strokes. Put the wheelchair together, I took it in, and he was bedridden. And I went into this bedroom to give him his chair, and he's lying there, and he is confined to the bed until someone could get him out and put him in that wheelchair. And I thought, what hope does this poor man have? Early 40s, and he's confined to bed. Now he can get into that wheelchair and he can move around the house, which he couldn't do before that. So it's mostly older folks. I can't tell you, several times. I had a man over on East Bonanza, Latino gentleman, and he lived alone, and I got him this brand new wheelchair. And all he could say, as tears were rolling down his cheeks, que Dios te bendiga, que Dios te bendiga. May God bless you.
That was it, yeah.
You know, it's such a sad situation because we're lucky that we don't need a wheelchair here in the room, you know, for one of us. And the truth is, could you imagine, you know, being in need of a wheelchair that you need to survive and to live? It's a very sad situation. We take it for granted just getting up in the morning and walking. Yeah. So, you know, God bless for all the work that you guys are doing. I'm really glad that I got you guys on the show.
Well, thank you for having us.
And like I said, Richard Harris mentioned to me a while ago when he was doing this that I think that he wanted me, you know, to help out a little bit in regards to it, since I like doing community outreach stuff. And I like being part of all these different nonprofits, helping people, because when people call me, I know where to go. I send them different places. I mean, it's not, if you know where to go, you're helping a lot of people, right?
Exactly.
Or if you just know about 211, that'd be helpful too.
Exactly.
So long story short, I'm really excited to kind of be part of you guys now and help out. I want to actually join the Notary Club since I'm going to have steak, you know, lunch. And
I'm definitely going to be there.
Leticia's going to come Thursday.
Well, you could be our guest.
Yeah, please.
We're invited.
Thursday's a perfect day. Thursday's kind of like my problem solver day where we go on the show. So Thursdays at 12 works out well. You know, on Wednesdays I normally go out to Pahrump because I deal with Pahrump Spine and Wellness. Do you ever go out to Pahrump for wheelchairs? Does that ever
I
come
go
up?
out there. I just got back from the wheelchair. I give wheelchairs to the Pahrump Senior Center.
Okay.
The Rotary Club in Pahrump.
Okay.
What they do, they build ramps. That's their thing. They build ramps for people that need ramps to get the wheelchairs into the house.
Only in Pahrump?
Only in Pahrump. They won't go outside of Pahrump.
We're going to have to steal that ramp and bring it to Vegas.
Exactly.
We need to work on that in Vegas.
You know, there's one thing that we do need is I'm looking for a spokesperson. I am talking to the Las Vegas Go Knights right now. And not for a money sponsor. What they're going to do awareness with me. They're going to come up and say, you know, all the fans, if you need a wheelchair, if you know somebody that needs a wheelchair, the Go Knights is supporting the Nevada Wheelchair Foundation. So if you need a wheelchair, they're going to go out and do a press thing for us. A lot of people follow the Knights. So that should help. They're not financially helping, but they are helping on awareness. And I'm looking for a spokesperson. Mm-hmm. It could be a football player, it could be anybody. So anybody in town, if you have anybody that might be a spokesperson, because that means a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll talk to some people, and we will see if we can find someone that is like more of a celebrity, local celebrity that can help influence to help you guys.
That's huge.
Whether it's fundraising or whether to let awareness.
Awareness as much as money
Okay.
right now. So
Okay.
if I can get their name and they can help me promote it, that would be awesome.
And just to recap, John and Brock, the goal of the Problem Solver is to help people and to bring other problem solvers on the show like yourself. You guys are all solving problems. Happens to be whether it's mobility in the wheelchair and helping people, community outreach in general. So my goal is that if you guys have anyone that needs any help and you don't know where to turn, I do have a lot of resources, though I do work with a lot of attorneys and doctors in general that are willing to help in different ways. So whenever you have a problem or someone gets injured or accident or whatever the problem may be, I mean, I answer all kinds of questions every single day. I literally am 24/7. I'm up all the time. I got 3 little babies, so I'm always checking the breathing and the temperature, the coughing and sniffling. So I'm always up, so people can text and call me at any time if there's any type of problem, and whether it's getting people jobs or employment or referring them to the right place. That's my main goal as the problem solver. So again, keep me as a resource. We will continue our relationship and working together. And I'm so glad that Richard Harris Law Firm is a major supporter in helping, especially with 300 wheelchairs. Even though the new wheelchairs are getting some sun tanning, some sunbathing in Long Beach as they're waiting to come here to Las Vegas.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, I hope the prayers of getting these a little bit quicker. And then we'll have you back. We'll do a little bit of a fundraiser here, and we'll go from there.
Well, that'd be fine.
So I appreciate you guys. Thanks, John, for coming on the show.
No,
I
thank
appreciate
you.
Brock. I appreciate a little bit of Spanish. Leticia as well, helping out. I think that when we make the clip together, it'll be really great. Maybe we could showcase the website. I forgot to ask you. There's a website in general, right?
NevadaWheelchairFoundation.org.
Okay. So we'll clip something together for awareness, and then we'll get that out there, and I'll boost it as well to get it out to more people and ask people if they want a wheelchair need. That's great. If not, if they want to help with fundraising, that's great too. So again, I really appreciate your time.
We
Thank you
appreciate
so
you
much.
having us on. This has been a real pleasure and,
Yes.
and real enjoyable.
Awesome. So again, I'm David Kohlmeier, the problem solver, every single week bringing great people on the show. Every Thursday at 4:30, we're going live. And if you want to listen, and whether it's audio, whether video, or you want to listen to this later, please stay tuned and listen to this great information. Again, Nevada Wheelchair Foundation is helping a lot of people locally in Clark County, even in Pahrump and Nye County. So the whole state is where they're really helping. As myself as the problem solver, as a retired police officer of 17 years, my goal is to help people in many different ways, whether they're looking for a job or if they're homeless, they need a place to stay. There's so many different programs out that people just don't know about. So anyone can call me or text me 24/7. I can be reached at 702-400-7474. Again, 702-400-7474. There also is a Problem Solver progressive web app, which is called the problemsolver.vegas. On the app, you can click a few buttons, put your name and information, whether you need a wheelchair. On the app as well will be information you can fill out, and then there will be an email that will be sent to the Nevada Wheelchair Foundation and myself if someone needs a wheelchair, or even if you want to refer somebody that may need a wheelchair, you can go to the problemsolver.vegas and fill out that information. It should be live in a day or two as well. So again, anyone that needs any type of help as a retired cop, I'm probably the only retired cop out there in the United States of America that puts myself out there 24/7 to help people. So again, please call me, 702-400-7474. Please be safe this week, especially with New Year's coming up. Have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next week.